Hi there, welcome to Nonsense Whisky. My name's Vin PF, and on today's episode we're going to be talking about something which a few of you might not like that much, mainly because it's a replacement of something that was pretty good. But before we get into that, today's question of the day is, can you tell me your favourite non-Islay peated malt? Could be a blend if you want, to be fair, doesn't have to be a single malt. Drop that in the comments below, let me know. Moving back onto this is the Ardmore Legacy, lightly peated. A few of you will definitely know about this thing here because it was the replacement to the Ardmore Traditional Cask, which was a 46%, and it was a non-chill filtered, it was barrier filtered that, and it was replaced by this, the Ardmore Legacy, dropped to 40% and chill filtration, which, you know, they're all things that a lot of connoisseurs and aficionados, they don't like, you know, they prefer the other things. But I'm going to try and give this as fair an assessment as I can. Spoiler alert, I don't mind it that much. But the Ardmore, they're owned by Beam Suntory, the people that own Jim Beam and the Suntory branch of the Japanese whiskies. And it's a Highland malt, so it's up near Aberdeenshire, but it's kind of near the Speyside region, but it doesn't quite make it in there. It's in the Highlands, which I think gives it a little bit extra character. Now the thing that they do with this that is different is that they make 80% with peated malt and 20% with unpeated malt. So there's should be a little bit lighter. They call it lightly peated, and it is, so it's not heavily peated at all, but it's just a nice little entryway into that kind of smoky flavours that you would get from something that was a little bit more peated. But so the distillery itself is actually quite large, considering they've got something like, I think, 8 stills. So that's 4 wash stills and 4 spirit stills, and they can produce something like 5.5 million litres a year. So they're not a small operation by any stretch of the imagination, but they still felt the need to drop stuff like this out. The actual traditional cask was rebranded as the Traditional and is now available for travel retail for a litre. I think it's something like £60 or something like that. I've actually never seen it in an airport. They make some other expressions as well. I've got one other in my queue to go, and that's the 12-year-old portwood finish, so we'll see how that is when we come to it. But let's have a nose of this and see where we're at. Now, all the things we said, you know, it's 40%. It's quite a cheap whiskey for me. It's meant to be around £30 in the UK, but it's regularly on deal for like £20, so really quite cheap, I think. On the nose, it's not too bad, you know. It's nice and sweet. It's that light peat coming through, a bit of honey. I get some maltiness to it that I usually get from younger malts, so it's probably not that well aged. But it's got a really nice sweet nose, floral nose. Let's try a little bit. Yeah, so getting a little bit more of that peat come through now. A touch ashy on the outside. I'm not talking anywhere in the leagues of Lefroy. It's really light, but just a touch there. A little bit of that kind of ashtrayness to it. It's not kind of burnt wood. It's the gone dead stuff. But there's more of that sweetness there, you know, more of that honey, a little bit of caramel, more of that maltiness coming through. On this occasion, the nose and the palate are very similar. Sometimes you'll hear me say about the nose and the palate being completely different. It happens sometimes. It's an odd thing. But yeah, I actually don't mind this at all. I picked this up for £20. I would definitely buy it again for £20. £30, not sure. It's pushing it a little bit for me. Any more than that is a definite no-no. It's definitely not worth that. But when you compare it to the other things that I can get for that sort of price range, you know, we're talking about the supermarket-owned stuff, it fits in quite nicely. It's a nice little daily sipper. It's not overly complex, not overly challenging, but it just pushes the taste flavour profile just a little bit from those kind of cheaper Speyside-y stuff, you know, that it's really light and not complex. And this just adds that extra little bit of complexity to it to push you out just a touch further. Obviously, aficionados and whatnot aren't going to like it because of the chill filtration and the drop down to 40%. but it's priced accordingly, and I think it's got its place on someone's shelf. It's something that I would happily drink on a regular basis. There we go, that's my quick overview of the Ardmore. Don't forget about the question of the day, and that's what's your favourite non-Islay peated malt? Drop that in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and of course, click on more videos just like this. YouTube thinks you should watch them, and so do I.